Hello there, and welcome to the Showing Up to Life podcast and YouTube channel. My name is Art Burns, and I'm happy to be here with you today. Normally, I say I'm very excited to be here with you today, and normally I am very excited. And it's not to say that I'm not enthusiastic about being here today. And again, I am happy to be here today. I'm very happy to be able to share this time with you, but I'm not really excited, and I want to tell you why. There's actually that's the really theme of this podcast episode, if you don't mind. Um, I actually was kind of debating whether I was going to record anything today or not. I actually had something planned for yesterday, and it's actually a pretty good plan, and it will happen probably tomorrow. Um, but the reason it didn't happen yesterday, and the reason why I'm here. Um, in a serendipitous way today is is that yesterday I was greeted with the news shortly after I woke up. Well, these days I spend the first couple of hours of my day not going on social media, and so when I did log on to social media, I was met with some really difficult news that somebody who I've known for a really long time, somebody who her kids are about the same age as my kids, and somebody who I'd known was sick for a while, but not very long, not really long at all. And I found out that she had passed the night before last, and it was just so um it was so hard, you know and and so I wanted to come on to, because you can probably tell that it's still hard. Maybe I shouldn't put that in the past tense so quickly, because I'm still struggling. You can maybe even see, like even without my glasses on, I can see that my eyes still look very puffed and probably red. And I've been it's the waterworks just come here and there. And it's really fascinating that some people just touch us in a certain way, and this person was very much that for me. I mean, again, wasn't like we were super close, but we were close enough to really have felt each other, and that's the way it feels. And then ironically, Amy, um may she rest in peace. I'm sure that there's a lot of people today. She was just that kind of person, right? I'm sure there's a lot of people yesterday and today saying the same thing that I am. That I don't feel like there's people I know longer and have more close relationships to, who I'm not this. I don't feel this level of pain, which is, again, I feel like she's probably, there's a lot of people in the world saying that these last couple of days. She was a really special lady, and really just wonderful person, totally supportive, accepting, and compassionate, and just, oh man, we were lucky to have her. But anyway, we've all got people in our lives, and we all process the whole cycle of life and death in our own ways, and it's not, it's something none of us can escape, right? So this is not something, I mean, I've received, I did have the fortune yesterday to be able to, I have, one client who's very understanding, and he understood my wanting to, cancel our appointment yesterday. And then I canceled my meditation appointment yesterday. Another client canceled on me. And so it all kind of worked out that I got to have the day to really, to grieve, and to feel into what was going on. And this is specifically important. Now, I'm actually gonna, I received a message this morning, or might have come in last night, but I read it this morning, from someone who's, a client. As you know, I don't like to use that word client, because I really don't think it describes very accurately the relationship that I have with the people who I'm lucky enough to work with. But anyway, this quote unquote client of mine, he sent me a beautiful and wise message this morning, and that's one of the things that made me want to record this video today, is because when we experience grief, it's like, the word opportunity comes to my mind, right? That how often is it that we are just halted in our tracks, like, wow, this person, I'm never going to see them again, I'm never going to hear them, I'm never going to look at their smile again, and it stops us in our tracks when it's that powerful. I mean, obviously we hear about people dying all the time, and it doesn't always stop us in our tracks like this, but when it does, it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity to feel something that's probably one of the most powerful things we can feel. This emotion of grief. And it's like, sorry, I just got a thing here. I just want to make sure my kids were all right upstairs. Pardon me for that. When we experience grief, there's no more powerful emotion than grief. It can make you just, the tears just come flowing out. Like just thinking about how powerful that is. And yet, most of us look at grief as something that we just got to get through. Like okay, I just got to move through this. Got to get back to life. Got to get stuff done. And in that way and this is what my again quote unquote client was saying yesterday, or this morning rather, in the email that I received, that we're so quick to jump to fix things and to get back to normal, or get things done, or whatever that thing is, that we don't use grief as the opportunity that it is, right? Because feeling grief, aside from just being a very, very powerful feeling, when I sense into this grief and I allow the grief to really, basically take over and just like really just go along with it, right? Or surrender myself to it, right? There's so much depth to that. There are so many things that my heart felt last night, just remembering little moments with the person, and just, I mean, yeah, thinking about her kids and thinking about her husband, and just, but again, it was an opportunity for me to practice the most beautiful compassion for those people, and these are feelings that I was lucky to get to feel. And what a shame it is that sometimes we feel like, well, let me just get back to work so I can distract myself away from this grief. Like, I don't want to feel the grief. I don't want to deal with the grief. But grief, just like any other emotion, it's not something to deal with. It's something to experience. And it's something to understand ourselves through the experience of. Right? Now, interestingly, it's not like, I mean, basically at this point, I'm a part-time coach and a full-time dad. And so it's not like this particular relationship didn't warrant it either, but it's not like I just sat here and did nothing all day, right? I mean, I still did, I wound up doing like 4 or 5 loads of laundry, had to go to the grocery store, had to cook dinner, had to, do all the stuff, right? But as I'm doing those things, I was practicing mindfulness of my grief. I was allowing the grief to be there cooking dinner with me. I was allowing grief to walk through the grocery store with me. I was allowing grief to sit with me all day. At times it was overwhelming. It was smothering me. I couldn't even see anything except the grief. And other times it was just sort of in the background. I had to remember, oh yeah, that's right, grief, you're here. And at various moments, it was in between. It was a moment by moment experience, right? Just like anything else. And now, of course, grief is just that, again, it's a really special emotion that we experience, that just, and of course there's like the 7 stages of grieving and stuff like that. And of course, the bigger the relationship is, right? Like now, I mean, if this was like an immediate family member, or somebody who I was, truly, extraordinarily close with, then the degree shifts, so, you always have to kind of take those things into account, right? That it's not like an all or nothing thing, or a one size fits all kind of thing, so as we talk about grief, yes, there's some grief that, what, yeah, you can't do anything for the next, like, days, maybe weeks even. You talk about somebody who's lost a child, for instance, like, like there's, you don't get over that grief, in a couple of days. Or again, the grief is still not something to get over in that sense, but you're not doing laundry, and you're not, you should have somebody cook dinner for you. for the foreseeable future. Like I'm just trying to give you the understanding, illustrate that there are various forms and various levels, very degrees of grief, if you will. And that's true of all emotions, right? There's the anger that we get at somebody who cut us off on the road, and then there's the anger that we get for somebody who stole our life savings. If that happens to somebody, if the victim of a crime, we get the anger of the person who victimized us, right? Completely different levels of anger, but the anger itself is still the same thing. It's just a different sort of proportion of it. It's just a different intensity of it, right? And so all the emotions are that way, right? And to that point, we can experience them all the same way that I'm talking about grief, right? If you wake up one morning, for instance, and maybe you found out last night that something happened, and there is anger in your body when you wake up, again, it's not like, oh, stop being angry, get over the anger, move on, get to work so you're not angry anymore, go cheer yourself up, go take some kind of medication, or do some meditation even to get away from the anger. It's not about that. It's just the same as the grief. It's allowing anger to be there. Now we all get to choose how we act on the anger and the grief. Like when I said grief was walking through the supermarket with me, that doesn't mean that I'm rolling around in the coffee aisle on the floor, just literally in despair, right? I don't have to express my grief. I don't have to express my anger. I don't have to, but I also don't have to hide it, right? I don't have to prevent myself from. I don't know if rolling around on the floor in the coffee aisle is the appropriate way to do it, but I don't know that it's not, though. you know. And that's the point, right? That there's, so many times we look at, like, even just what I said, there's so many times that we look at it and we say, gosh, I shouldn't do this, or I'm not supposed to do that, or, like, I should get over it. I'm supposed to get back to work. I'm supposed to be strong. I'm supposed to be this. I'm supposed to be that. And that's a very mindless way to look at it as well. What we really need to do is we need to feel into it. We need to show up for it, just like any other part of our lives. We got to show up and we got to feel it to its fullest. Because that's the way to understand it. Because quite frankly, the grief is something that as I was experiencing yesterday, I was realizing, like, how powerful this, not just a powerful emotion, but how effective, how efficient grief is in conjuring up these memories. Like, I had memories flowing through my mind. It wasn't like I was sitting here thinking about Amy and trying to remember all the different, memories that I had of her. And I have thousands of memories with her, it wasn't like I was sitting here trying to remember them. I mean, I knew this woman for, gosh, 8, 9 years, saw her almost, probably 4 times a week for 8, 9 years, I mean, you get, you have a lot of memories with someone. But I don't think of her like, even now. I'm not, the grief feels different today, and the memories are not coming up like they were. But yesterday, like, even in like where was I? I was in a store, probably the grocery store yesterday. And I hear they're playing on the Muzak thing, they're playing The Weekend. And I remember, like, at the Super Bowl, I don't even watch the Super Bowl. I saw her, post something on Facebook about The Weekend and how he's her favorite. And I was like, oh, Amy, like, there you are again, and it's just like, it's those little things. And that's what grief brings to us, because, I hear The Weekend all the time. I don't think of Amy at that point. But it's, and that's what we can experience. That's what we can really start to see, the power of how the emotions, the thoughts slash memories, and the body, we start to really see how these things really influence and are, are with each other. They're in a constant interbeing with one another, and there's no separating one from the other. And it's fascinating, it's beautiful, and and I got a visceral, visceral, understanding of that yesterday. And it was all because of the grief. you know? And that brings us to non-duality, right? Which I wasn't planning to talk about, but I find it's coming up on almost every conversation these days, which is that's the sense of non-duality, right? It should come up in every, it must come up in every situation, every conversation, right? Because the point here is that while the loss of someone is devastatingly painful, and again, it's painful for me way out here. I can only imagine like the family and the friends who are, I mean, you're talking about like young kids, like 11, 14, something like that. Oh man. And so yeah, it's really, anyway, I don't even remember what I was about to say. I'm sorry, folks. That doesn't happen often on this podcast YouTube channel, but yeah, I guess the grief still is kind of strong. And so anyway, I wanted to take the opportunity to just kind of, roll with this. I actually just had somebody, somebody had booked a meeting with me and they didn't get to show up, and that happens. It's not the end of the world. It's certainly not preferable, and it's not it's not the ideal situation, but um, it is what it is too. I mean, we're going to be mindful of that, and just like we are of everything else. And so when somebody cancels on me, I can turn on my camera and my microphone. It's time to light the night, and I could do a little podcast episode, and I can tell you from my heart, what I'm feeling about grief from within the grief. And so I hope that was helpful for you. I hope you enjoyed it, or maybe enjoy is not the appropriate word, but I hope you found it useful. And so I thank you. And so tomorrow and for the next few days, I'm going to be really focusing on kindness. And I look forward to doing that with you in the next few episodes. But by the way, real quick, I'm going to do the sort of landing page flyer thing for it now. This Saturday, the Art Burns Coaching Winter Workshop Series, which is a completely free series of workshops every Saturday at 11:30 a.m. Mountain Time, which is 1:30 Eastern, 12:30 Central, and 10:30 Pacific. I'll be doing it is every Saturday until the beginning of April. We do a different topic every week. Last week was journaling, and it was amazing, y'all. It was amazing. And so day after tomorrow, I'm doing a workshop on how to meditate. Just very basic, very sort of the purest sort of starting point of what we call formal meditation. We're going to talk about the science behind meditation. I'm going to talk about the benefits of meditation. I'm going to talk about how to really benefit from meditation in your life. And most importantly, I'm going to give you the very, very simple skill, the very simple instructions and tools to do meditation on a daily basis, even if it's just for a minute or two, and to do it in a way that's really gonna bring some very strong impact to your life. And almost everyone that I teach this to, the first thing that they say is like, that's it? That's all that we have to do to meditate? I always thought it was much more complicated than that. I'm going to tell you all about that on Saturday. All right, so I hope you can make it. Again, free, 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 free. I do accept donations. Some people make them, some people don't. It's all good. I'm happy either way. Last week we had one person who donated anonymously, and it was a nice donation. So it's okay, like if people don't, because there's always people who are more generous when they can be, and so that's the whole point of all this. That, in this kind of tribe that we talk about here, in this family that we're building here with this podcast, YouTube channel, Wednesday meditation, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all this stuff, it's about supporting each other. That's why I'm here almost every day, to support you, and the community will support you too. So if you want to learn how to meditate, just come. Okay, don't come. Don't worry about any money or anything. Just come. Okay. All right, everybody. Thanks for wishing. Thanks for wishing. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I'm gonna go take a few breaths now, and yeah, it's been tough. Just got that like crying, like stuffiness to my head. I feel like I'm in a daze. But thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. I'll be back tomorrow, and I'll see you then. Take care.